It is the first Tuesday of the month, which of course means we get 5 new assets for free on the Epic Marketplace. This month we are getting the replicated grab system, which is the video that is playing currently for you here. In addition to that, we are also getting a Tokyo stylized environment, a modular sci-fi indoor outdoor pack, a environment bundle which consists of 6 different kinds of environments, and we also get an advanced flock system. So if you want to find these, you find them in the marketplace under the free category, free for the month, and make sure to pick them up during this month if you want for free, and then you can use them forever. So let's check them out. First up, we have the Tokyo stylized environment. Now this is an environment that is stylized and of Tokyo, sort of ish. It consists of a lot of modular pieces, and this is the example map that we're looking at here currently. So we have this small little slice of what you could achieve with the system, and it is a pretty little demonstration of a city. If we just go a little bit out, we can see that this is the smoke and mirrors that make this up. So it's basically just a very small area that is looking good from this angle and pretty much nothing else. The cityscape itself is made out of these modular pieces, so you can see that there really isn't that many building blocks that make up this scene, but you can be fairly creative with it, as you can see from the demonstration map. So this is the Tokyo stylized map. Next up we have the replicated grab system. So this is the only blueprint asset that is available in this month. And this is the example map that we get, which allows you to demo the different pieces of this system. So since it is replicated, we can show that off a little bit quickly here. We can see that we have over here, actually let's do it like this. We'll go and create 2 Pi sessions. So we have the server on the left and we have the client on the right here, so we can move around here, and we can also move over to the client and interact here. So we can go up on the client and we can pick something up, and you can see that it moves around on the server side, and we can throw it if we want to as well. And then going to the server, equally we can interact and get the visuals replicated over to the clients. So yes, it is working in multiplayer as it is describing, but let's move over to single player, standalone, and let's play in the viewport. So what we have here is essentially a few different ways of interacting with objects in the world. Like you saw, we can pick objects up and we can throw them away if we want to. There are some different characteristics that you can have on the different pieces. So this over here is a piece that doesn't want to interact with other pieces. It sort of just tries to conform to whatever you're pulling it up against. As you can see, it's not perfect. It can clip through in certain areas and such. So there are some bugs or quirks with it. But it's a pretty cool system. When you pick up another object like this one, you can see that it instead will move other objects that it's touching. You have objects that are possible to attach to walls. So the demo that you saw in the beginning, it had something like paintings. So you can take these objects up and you can drop them, or you can bring them close to walls and then attach them. And you can see that you have some controls over here. You have also some controls of rotations, which I found a little bit finicky. You're supposed to hold the limit rotation and then hold down the rotation key, and yeah, it didn't work as expected. This is how the rotation works if you're dragging around something, but when it comes to the middle mouse button limit rotation, I don't know, it felt a bit finicky, but that might just be a quirk that you might get accustomed to as you're making use of it, essentially. In addition to that, you can also pick up objects and throw them away. So that's more or less all that you have, and since it's replicated, you can have some multiplayer games with it. The demo shows off a fairly cute little scene of you bringing a bunch of things together and packing it up on a vehicle, and that is more or less what you get in the replicated grab system. Next up we have the Modular Sci-Fi Indoor / Outdoor Environment Pack, and you can see that we have a sort of swamp environment that comes with this as well. So this is something that's aimed to be able to create a fairly large variety as far as this kind of outpost kind of style goes when it comes to a sci-fi environment. So you have these modules of habitation and there are different small objects around them as well, which make up what you can create as a environment for this. So you can have smaller bases created out of modules being linked together. I think this is the biggest part that they are actually showcasing. So you have different modules that are linked together to show how that works out, and you also have some interiors that you can explore as well in these hubs. So yeah, that's essentially the example map, and the overview scene where we can see the different parts looks like this. So you can see that you have a fair variety of different modules that you can put together and create new things out of, essentially. All in all, I would say it's a pretty decent sci-fi environment, and it looks pretty nice. And there is also an indoor scene, but that one wasn't very impressive, so we'll just be skipping that one. Next up we have the environments bundle, which is called 6 maps, which is essentially what it is. We're going to be going through these alphabetically. So this is the one that's called Engine Room. It's a sci-fi environment, and if we just step out a little bit, you can see that this is the area or size of the map that has been built, and all of these maps will be fairly small, but they have a fairly varied sort of scenery to them. This seems to be some sort of slightly odd sci-fi kind of environment. It has something of the feel of a sci-fi / prison vibe going, which I don't quite understand, but hey, maybe that's something that you're looking for. Next up we have something called the Foreglar map. The Foreglar map is something that's more akin to a Earth-like desert environment, consisting of, well, desert scenery, old buildings, that sort of thing. It's a quite barren and Spartan kind of map. Doesn't have a whole lot going on in it, and again, all of the maps are going to be fairly small, as you can see. If we go and zoom out a little bit, this is the extent of the map that they've created, and we also have a little bit of a building over here with some statues. Next up we have the Hell Cage. So the Hell Cage is a map that also, all of these are a little bit odd in my opinion. This looks sort of like a secret entrance to some kind of ominous looking cave. You go through this little passageway, you come into something that looks, let's actually do a simulation so we see all of the effects as they are meant to be. You can see a sword and some kind of like forge or something like that maybe. Going down here we come down to what looks more or less like a guard room and a dungeon. And yeah, this is what the Hell Cage map is all about. So very different aesthetics between all of them. Now we're moving to Neon City, and Neon City is going to be more cyberpunky, futuristic kind of a environment. So we see that we have this sort of actually let's go into simulate mode here as well so we get the full view. So it looks a little bit like something from cyberpunk or similar, a little bit of overabundance of neon lights and such. And if we go out a little bit into the stratosphere here, you can see that this is the size of the map. It's not very large again, but they managed to, using smoke and mirrors, sell that it's a much larger map than it actually is when you're standing on the street level. Moving on, the next map that we have is Tomato City. Now this one is a little bit odd because going into this, you can see that we have a overview map over here of the assets, and here as well. Here we have grass, and that one we have the meshes. And we can see that we have 3 different build data here. So we can see that the demo_/new2 map is gone, though its build data is here. So for some reason this map has been deleted and is not existing in the pack. This is probably something that will be fixed in an update later on as the publisher gets notified about this. If not, you may want to actually inform the person who created this map about this. But yeah, so Tomato City is a little bit more of a greenish shrubbery forest, magical forest kind of a feel to it. Last up, we have in this the treehouse. The treehouse is again a little bit of an odd environment. Let's put on simulate. So we can see that we are in this sort of horror-like forest with weird formations and objects for some reason. Doesn't really fit together super well in my opinion. Something feels a little bit off about this, but yeah, if this is something that you're after, this might be interesting. In addition to this set of maps, they are not modular like the previous ones are. They are, you can of course build upon them and make more complex constructions and variations of things, but when it comes to the actual assets themselves, if you look at the demo assets, you'll see that there's not a whole lot to work with essentially, and this is pretty consistent throughout all the different maps as well. But given that there are 6 of them, maybe the combined asset is worth it and usable perhaps, although they wouldn't work very well together since they're so different in style. Next up, we have the advanced flock system. So the video you're seeing over here is a flock of piranhas that is following an actor around, that's being moved around, that is taking damage as the flock of piranhas is interacting and overlapping with it. So this is a pretty interesting little asset. This is a plugin that is created. As such, the usage of this itself seems pretty narrow. I can't see much usage of this outside of flocks like this, like maybe fishes or maybe some other kind of entity that uses the same kind of behavior. So it feels a little bit niche in that regard, but there might be more to this than meets the eye. So if that's what you're interested in, that's what's going on here. That's going to be all for now. Keep on learning. Take care. A big thank you to all of you who like, comment, subscribe and share my videos, or through other means support this channel. You are what makes this channel grow and become a resource for other people to learn from.